So the last part of this section, 6.2, gets into dimensional analysis. Now we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but we didn't even realize it probably. When we had to change from one unit into another sized unit, we were actually using dimensional analysis. Now the main piece that we were using in there were conversion factors. So when we know that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, that's an example of a conversion factor. So let's take a look at another example, one that you probably know. 12 inches is 1 foot. So that is a conversion factor. Now we can use that one of two ways to transform something into a different sized unit. So let's take a look at two cases. If we wanted to know how many feet were in 42 inches, we could use that conversion factor in this way here. So we're starting off with the 42 inches, and we put it over 1 just to keep that fractional format. Now, because the 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, that's why we can write it like this. We can write it as a fraction next to it and multiply by it because they're the same size. And if you have the same thing over the same thing, it's equal to 1. So we're not changing it when we multiply it by this. But what happens with the units? Well, let's look diagonally. Because it's multiplication, we can cancel out those units. So that's important. And so now the only units left are the feet, which are carried out in front. And if we multiply straight across, the 42 is on top and the 12 is on the bottom. And so if we divide that, we get 3.5. So the answer is 3.5 feet. Now, the other way we could use it is if we wanted to change something into inches. So if we want to know how many inches is in 2.75 feet, we still start off with what you're given, and we put it over 1. But now we're writing the conversion factor the upside down. And the only reason why we're doing that is because we want those units to cross cancel. So the feet cancel out this way. If we had it upside down, the units aren't going to cancel. So there's only one way that that conversion factor is going to lay out in order to get those units to cancel. So you just have to test it. So in this case, now the units cancel, so we multiply straight across. Again, the ones on the bottom aren't going to do anything, so we can just leave them out. And we just multiply those two numbers together to get 33 inches. So that's always the way these problems are going to work. You either can write it one way or you can write it the other way to get things to cancel out. So let's try a few. All right, so we have some conversion factors that are given to us. So 32 ounces is equal to 1 quart. 1,000 megabytes is equal to 1 gigabyte. 4 liters is approximately 1 gallon. $20 equals 1 hour of pay, at least in this case. Not everywhere, luckily, or unluckily, rather. So, well, if we have 3 quarts of milk, how many ounces do you have? So what's our starting point? What should I start writing right off the bat? It's all based off of this given information, 3 quarts. So if I say 3 QT, I put it over 1. I'm going to want to multiply it by something that gets those quarts to cancel out. So that is going to have to be this conversion factor here. So I need to write 32 ounces someplace, and I need to write the 1 quart someplace. So where do I write those in order to get those units to cancel? The 32 is going to have to go on top, and the 1 quart is going to have to go on the bottom. If I had it reversed, I'm not going to get any cancellations. But this way, I can get the quarts to cancel. So now if I multiply straight across, I'm going to get 96, again, over 1, but the 1 is, you don't need it. So 96 ounces. Okay. Your salary is $20 per hour. You earned $500. How many hours did you work? Now, I know some of these problems, you're probably saying, well, can I just divide it? Or can I just multiply it? Isn't that, going to work? And the answer is yes, but it's a 50-50 shot. If you're not sure which way you should go, if you should multiply or divide, this is going to help determine that for you, because you'll see those units cancel out and say, oh, I know I have to multiply those. And in this case, I know I have to divide. But I mean, if you're pretty intuitive, you can probably do it without a lot of this work. But I would encourage you to try it and see the patterns with this stuff before you just jump to trying to do shortcuts. So, okay, now your starting point with this one though is the $500. So if I wrote $500 over 1, what would I multiply it by? We got $20 an hour. So am I putting $20 on top and 1 hour on the bottom, or not? Hopefully you're saying not. Because if I put the dollars on top, I got dollars across from each other and they're not going to cancel. So I have to have the $20 on the bottom. And that means the 1 hour is going to have to be on the top. So that cancels your units. And so now I just need to divide 500 by 20, which is 25. And the hours come along. All right, let's do a few more and that will wrap this stuff up. Your computer backup storage device holds 4 gigabytes. How many megabytes is this? Now, if you're a computer nerd like me, you probably don't even need to even do anything. You can just figure it out pretty quickly. But if not, your starting point is the 4 gigabytes. So 4 GB over 1. Okay, so now remember the conversion. It's up above. It says 1,000 megabytes is 1 gigabyte. So where does the 1,000 megabytes go? Excuse me. And where does the 1 gigabyte go? Well, gigabytes is up top, so we need gigabytes down here. So the megabytes better be up there. So 1,000 over 1. So 4,000 megabytes in this case. You buy 40 liters of gas for your car in Mexico. About how many gallons did you buy? Well, let's see. 40 liters is what you're starting with. So liters is here, so that forces liters to be down here. And they want to change it to gallons, so gallons is going to be up on top. So now where do your numbers go? How do gallons and liters relate? Up above it said 4 liters is approximately 1 gallon. So 1 gallon, 4 liters. So the liters are going to cancel. 40 over 4, which is 10. So 10 gallons. All right, let's try one more tough one, and then we'll wrap this up. How many cups are in 5 quarts? Ooh, we got 2 conversion factors. We got 2 cups is 1 pint, and 2 pints is 1 quart. Well, your starting point is the 5 quarts. I'm going to snap through all my lead if I can. So 5 quarts over 1. So now which of these conversion factors are we going to use first, and how are we going to write it? Well, if we're starting with quarts, we're going to have to use the one that has the quarts in it. So we want the quarts on the bottom, and that means the pints must be on the top. 1 quart, 2 pints. So now we can cancel the quarts, and we can multiply straight across. So we got 10 pints over 1. Well, we do want to keep going though, because we want cups. So now we're going to have to use our second one, or the first one. And so now pints is going to have to go on the bottom. cups is going to have to go up on the top. 2 and 1. Pints cancel. Multiply straight across. So we got 20 cups. I know these problems can be a little bit tricky looking, but like I said, really try to be deliberate in how you set them up, and then all those cross-canceling will come right out at you. So, all right, we got one more section for this material, and then we jump into even more stuff. So, see you in a minute.